Hey guys, so welcome to this YouTube channel on an academy. So as you know, I'm bringing this short series on science and technology current affairs. So we have discussed many things. So we have been focusing more on space in the past two lessons. So today I'm going to take up another important topic, that is women in the field of STEM. STEM means science, technology, engineering and mathematics and related schemes. So how can we promote women in STEM? So that's what we are going to discuss in today's class. This course will be presented by me, Siva Prasad. So if you like this video, make sure that you like and you also subscribe to this particular YouTube channel. So we will start with this concept of STEM in India. So you might have heard this a lot, especially with respect to immigration and all. This is in very high demand, especially in the developed countries, especially in the United States of America. So if you look at US, so people are not so serious about STEM, right? They have so much liberty that they don't have the kind of system that we have where parents ask us to get into either of these streams of medicine or engineering, etc. So that is the reason there's always a demand for skilled workers in the United States of America. So that is the reason you see Indians are always in the demand, be it Indian doctors, they are literally running the American healthcare system. Or if you look at the Indians in the field of computer science and all, look at the number of Indians that are recruited by all these top company tech giants like Google or Facebook, etc. So literally, our role has been very grand in the contribution towards the building up of the Silicon Valley as well. Okay, so let's talk about women in the field of STEM and the various statistics associated with this, and also various related schemes that have been started by the government of India to promote women in the field of STEM. Right? And remember, this is not only important with respect to your science and technology, prelims and mains examination. Always remember, in the mains, you will always get one question related to women. Alright, it would be in the general studies paper 1, especially in the general studies paper 1, you'll get to see that. So this could be a potential question over there, right? So let us start with today's topic. So let's talk about women in STEM in India. I will give you some basic statistics so that you have some numbers to throw around in the examination. In the mains, remember, the more data, more reliable it seems, the better it is, right? You should be able to justify why we have some issue in the country, and later you can focus more on the solutions. According to United Nations, around 44% of women, they graduate in the field of STEM. But women, they constitute nearly 14% of the total 280,000 scientists, engineers, and technologists in research and development institutions. Okay, so that means if you look at the number of people, that means you are saying 44 out of 100. They are women graduates in the field of STEM. Okay, but the problem is when you look at the employment rate, it's only 14 out of 100. So where are these missing 30 women? Where are they going? What is the reason that this translation is not happening? If you look at men, the translation is far better. They are able to find jobs related to their field, jobs related to STEM after graduating. But even though 44% of women are graduating in degrees with a STEM degree, despite that they are not able to form a part of the workforce. What is the reason? See, women constitute a mere 15% of the faculty in science in India. Just 15% of the faculty is made up of women, right? So who are teaching science related fields like physics or chemistry or mathematics or biotechnology, etc. So that is only 15%. This is a very small number given the fact that 44% of the women are graduating with a STEM degree. Women in STEM field are known to be paid less than their male counterparts. So this wage gap can be witnessed even in the payment towards female scientists, also female teachers as well, right? In the field of STEM also, if you see, it is seen that women are paid far less than their male counterparts. So that means there's a wage gap, gender wage gap that exists in the field of STEM as well. A recent study was published in the Journal of Informatics. It said that 1 out of every 3 research papers published in India is done by women, which is opposite to that is happening in the rest of the world. See, this is pretty interesting, even though they are not constituting a huge chunk of the workforce, a huge chunk of the scientists. But still, you see, according to this research journal, they are saying 1 out of 3 research papers are published by women in India, which is pretty surprising. That is like 33% of all the research papers that are produced. Okay, I hope you know about research papers. So when we come up with something new, when we have discovered something new, or when we have something new to contribute in to the knowledge or repository of science and technology, we come up with research papers. All right. India ranks 112th in gender gap report. This is published by World Economic Forum. This has already been asked in UPSC prelims examination. They asked this question: which institution publishes this gender gap report? And it was World Economic Forum. So just make sure that you remember all the important indexes and which institution is preparing them, because every year without fail UPSC is asking one question, right? So in one year, I think it was in 2016, they asked two questions, but usually one question related to ranks they will definitely ask you. Thus, DST has decided to rank institutes on the basis of gender equality. Okay, so there are various rankings. If you see, for example, there is this NIRF ranking. Just yesterday, this was launched. Okay, IIT Madras, IISc Bangalore, they have done really well in this NIRF ranking, right? So like these various rankings are brought up to rank institutes यहाँ पे. So DST, Department of Science and Technology, it is telling that we are going to rank institutes on the basis of gender equality as well. So this will make the institutes more sensitive towards gender issue, right? So that is the idea behind this particular initiative of Department of Science and Technology. Let's talk about various other government initiatives that have been brought about to deal with the problem of women in STEM. There is this Vigyan Jyoti initiative. The program aims to encourage and inspire girl students to pursue higher education and become self-reliant, and also offer exposure for girl students coming from rural background to help understand how to plan their journey from school to college and thereafter from research to a job of their choice in the field of science. Okay, so this is a major problem. Okay, people do not know what to do. For example, even while I pursued my degree or when my batchmates were pursuing their degrees, so we did not really know how to, enter into the field of research, right? We were being given a degree, we were studying from the top research institute of the country, but we still did not know, right? So over the period of time, we understood, oh, we have to do a PhD, then we have to do a postdoc, then we have to look for assistant professorship, etc. Like this is how we started to understand the mechanism, right? So you can imagine the problem, especially that will be faced by people from the rural background. They aspire to be people like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, etc. How do we become that? So they don't really know the process, right? You have to have a master's, or you have to, if your degree is for 4 years, you can directly get into PhD program. So this is applicable especially in the United States, etc. They don't really require a master's. If you have a four-year degree, so you can directly apply for this. In India, you have to go through a master's and then to a PhD. So people are not really aware of what all should be done, etc. So that kind of exposure should be given. So that is the idea behind this Vigyan Jyoti initiative, and especially the thrust is on girls who are coming from rural background. Alright. As per the official media release, the government it plans to pick around 100 girl students from over 550 districts between this 2020-2025. The idea is to pursue higher education in STEM and allied subjects. Okay, the girl students selected for the program will be selected on the basis of their percentile score. So some sort of examination will be conducted, or on the basis of traditional examinations like JEE, or maybe through board examinations. So a percentile can be worked out, and based on that they would be selected. The program will cover students from grade 9 to 12. In addition to this, girl students who are a part of Vigyan Jyoti program will also be able to fund their education when admitted to any top institute. So if you're admitted to any top institute, for example, maybe like IIT or IISc Bangalore, etc. So they are saying that you would be able to fund your education also thanks to this Vigyan Jyoti initiative. Right. So let's talk about Kiran. This is another initiative. In the year 2014, department has restructured all the women-specific programs under one umbrella, that is known as Kiran. Kiran stands for Knowledge Involvement in Research Advancement through Nurturing. Okay, this is the full form of Kiran. Try to remember this. Kiran is addressing various issues related with women scientists. For example, unemployment, relocation. For example, especially when the female, when they get married, it is usually the tradition that they relocate to their husband's place. So this relocation is a huge process. Why? Because you have to again look for a new job in the new area that you are going to, or new city, or new whatever country you are going to get settled in. So the idea is to tackle all these problems related to women scientists, and an aim to provide opportunities in research, technology or technology development or demonstration, and for helping them find self-employment. Okay, so these are the ideas. So basically, you would like to address various issues related to women scientists. I will expand more on this in a few minutes. Kiran is also actively involved in taking proactive measures under the name CURI. Okay, what is this CURI? This is consolidation of university research for innovation and excellence in women universities. Okay, so this is called as theory. The idea is to develop state-of-the-art infrastructure in women universities in order to attract, train, and retain promising girl students in the domain of science and technology. Okay, so this is exclusively for universities, women universities, right? So वहाँ पे we are going to define, develop state-of-the-art infrastructure, right, in these universities. The idea is to attract, to train and retain promising girl students who can make a lot of contribution and to retain them in the field of science and technology. In continuation of this, another landmark program, it is called as Mobility Scheme, has also been launched. So this is under Kiran. Okay, so one is Curie, the other one is called as Mobility Scheme. So this will address relocation issue of women scientists working in regular positions in government organization. For example, maybe if they are working for DRDO or maybe ISRO or maybe as a faculty in IIC, IITs, etc. So such people, such women scientists, okay, so who are working for the government organization. So when they are relocating, moving from one place to the other, whatever challenges there might be in them finding jobs again, so that would be taken care of by this particular initiative called as Kiran. Right? So this is all about Kiran. And recently, one Indo-US Fellowship for Women in STEM was also organized. This is to provide opportunities to Indian women scientists, engineers, and technologists to undertake international collaborative research in premier institutions in US to enhance their research capabilities and capacities. Okay, so that's the reason the Department of Science and Technology it announced this Indo-US Fellowship for Women in STEM. So that's what if you look at any of the global rankings, all the top universities, they are usually concentrated in the United States of America, right? So you have to sort of encourage people to go and get trained over there in places like MIT or Harvard or Stanford, etc. So that is the idea behind this Indo-US Fellowship for Women in STEM. Okay, so women they would be encouraged to have collaborations with such top-notch institutes in the United States of America. So they would develop their capacities and capabilities in the field of STEM. Okay, so that is the idea behind this Kiran initiative. Department of Science and Technology launched this Women Scientists Scheme. Okay, this is during 2002 to 2003. This initiative primarily is aimed at providing opportunities to women scientists and technologists between the age of 27 to 57 years who had a break in their career but desire to return to the mainstream. So this is one of the major reasons. You see, with women, what happens is because of childbirth, so they have to take a long break, and this long break ends up costing a lot. Okay, so when they are trying to get back to research, so many things have changed about them, right? This is what is the best thing about science and technology. Every single day, something new is happening. The change is so fast paced that you have to read every day, you have to study every day, you have to keep updated to sort of remain relevant in the field. But when the women scientists, when they are taking a break, mostly for childbirth, etc., so that really costs them a lot. So they find it really difficult to get back to the mainstream. So some initiatives are required over there, and rightly along those lines, to help women overcome the break in a career for any kind of reasons, right? If they desire, if they want to come back to the mainstream after taking a break from their career, so to facilitate them to get back and get accustomed to the normal way of things, so this initiative has been launched. Okay, there are three schemes under this initiative. So there is this Women Scientist Scheme A. This is basically for research in basic and applied sciences. Women Scientist Scheme B. This is for science and tech interventions for societal benefit. Okay, for example, people who are working, let's say, in the wash sector, water, sanitation, hygiene sector, a lot of new initiatives are being taken over here. These are done for societal benefits, right? So these things, so science and tech intervention over there. Then Women Scientist Scheme C, internship in intellectual property rights for self-employment, right? So they will be talking about intellectual property rights. I will make a lesson in the following YouTube videos. I will talk about patents. I will talk about Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi scheme. So that will bring us to a discussion on generic medicine. So I will tell you about the pharmaceutical sector and what these generic medicines are. And following that, I will do a class on patents and other intellectual property rights like geographical indication and copyrights, etc. Okay. So these are various schemes related to women in science that is being promoted by the government. I gave you certain facts and figures that you can throw around while writing answers in the mains examination. I always told you that there will be one question from women related question in science and in your general studies paper 1, or definitely in your mains examination, right? Sometimes essays could also be women centric, related to women empowerment. So over there also you can quote certain initiatives to encourage women in the field of STEM. All right. So, or they can even simply ask you a specific question, especially in prelims examination, they could ask you a specific question related to either of the schemes that I have discussed today. Okay, so this is all about today's class. So before ending, I would like to tell you about an academy's various initiatives. So there are 3 mega batches that are being launched. So the idea is to comprehensively help you in your preparation for UPSC Civil Services examination. So as you know, because all the offline coachings are definitely not a possibility and they end up being more costlier. So this is a better option for you to have dedicated guidance that too from all top top-notch educators from different parts of the country. They are helping you in this process. So these are the 3 batches. You can check them out. These are all targeted towards 2021 examination, as you can see, in multiple languages, in English, Hindi, etc. There are so many options. You can definitely check them out. Okay, you can go and subscribe for these channels, and also you can also register for this UPSC championship. These are completely free of cost. Okay, anybody can go and take this. So if you're preparing for prelims this year or any year, if you feel that you have at least completed 60% of the syllabus, you can try to give any of these exams, right? And these are all curated by top people, like for example Sir Rakesh Sharma sir, who's a former IAS officer. Then we have Mrinal and Atish sir. These are people who have been teaching for a long period of time. These are experienced players in this field. So I would encourage you to take this UPSC championship. It's completely free. Anybody can register. And so these are information related to me. If you're subscribing to Plus, make sure you're using this code. You will get 10% off. Alright. And you can also catch me live on an academy. These are special classes that I'm doing. Special classes means they're completely free every day at 7 to 8 a.m. I'm conducting these classes. So I hope to see you all. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye bye.